Hello and welcome back to another video tutorial here at Geekatplay Studios. My name is Gary Miller. One of the most challenging and marks of a person's modeling ability is the ability to model an automobile. Probably a character as well, but I think you have a little bit more freedom with a character. You can create the nose however you want, the eyes however you want, length of the fingers, length of the torso, legs, etc., however you want. But with an automobile, you have to be very technical and very precise because you have to duplicate exactly the shape, the profile, the details, the features of the vehicle exactly as the original designers had created it. And it can be very challenging if you've never done it before, but at the same time it can be very rewarding because there's probably no greater mark of a person's modeling skills than being able to create an automobile to scale with all the interesting details that come into it. And that's what this tutorial is about. It's modeling an automobile, and this is the model that I have just roughly created so far. All I've done is just rough out the global shape of it. But in order to do this, we need to set up blueprints. Set up our blueprints in the background so that we constantly have a visual reference of what it is that we are creating. And it's very easy to do it once you've been shown how to, and I had no idea how to do it, but I've been shown how to do it, and I want to pass this on to you, and because it's very challenging and very rewarding. So we're going to set out to model an automobile. First thing we need to do is we need to start off in Photoshop or any other competent image editing program that you've got. We need to set up our blueprints so that we can project them on our black background planes in Hexagon. Well, I'm going to use this BMW blueprint that I got off the internet, and I got it here I think I got it here at surland.com. All you got to do is come down here to blueprints and select what it is that you want, sports cars. Another blueprint site is blueprints.com, the-blueprints.com. Click on Blueprints Database and you'll get a whole list of blueprints that you can download for free. So looking at our blueprint, there are some things that we want to look at that will make it easier for us to assemble our blueprint planes in Hexagon. Now, all blueprints are different. They don't all include these 4 critically important views, and they also don't all include some of the little features on here, such as, now I'm not an architect or a draftsman, so I don't know what these lines are called, but these lines here that show you the limits of the model or of the image. It shows you where the top is, the bottom, even this one, which is critically important, where the center line of the wheels are. It shows you, yeah, here you go, the center line of the wheels, and what it doesn't show you is the center line of the car itself. But this is why I want to start off in Photoshop, because I want to create and enhance some of these visual features that will help us in assembling our blueprint planes as well as modeling itself. So first thing I want to do is I want to, before I adulterate this and change it in any way, I want to make sure that I save it as a different name on my desktop here, and I'll create a JPEG and I will call it test 1. So I'll save that. Now what I want to do is I want to change, add some changes to it, and before I do any of that, I'm going to come up here, save it as a JPEG again, and save this as test 2. Now no matter what I do to it, I have my original unchanged or unadulterated one and the one that I'm going to be working on. Alright, the first thing I want to do is I want to create guidelines here on my image, and to get to your guidelines, all you got to do is come over here to extras and enable that. Also your rulers, you want to enable your rulers by making sure you have a check mark next to that. I'm going to zoom in here now. To create my guidelines, I'm just going to come up here to my rulers and drag down, and I want to create one. I have to clear them. I'm going to create one and put it at the top of my vehicle. Create another one, bring it down here, put it at the bottom of my vehicle. I'm going to create another one, put it at the side, showing me where the far edge of the vehicle is. I want to create another one. Let me zoom out. Come and select it again, showing me where the other side of the vehicle is. I want to create another one that splits the car in the middle so I know where the center of it is. And that looks good. I want to create another one and put it at the top of the hood here, showing me where the top of not the hood, the hood. And create another one where the bottom of the chassis is. Create another one, the bottom of the chassis from the rear view. And that, now we need to do the vertical ones. I'm going to create another guideline, put it at the side of the vehicle here. Let me zoom in and get a little tighter. Create another one, put it here. Create another one, split the car down the middle so I have a center line reference point. There we are. And I'll create another one, put it at the front of the vehicle. Another one, put it at the back of the vehicle. Now all these help when you are not only setting up the your modeling plane, your blueprint planes, but also modeling the car itself. And that is exactly what I want. Okay, now I have I've created a blank layer. What I want to do is come up here and grab my paintbrush tool because I want to outline these guidelines. And I'm just going to come up here and hold down hold down shift, and I'm just going to draw right over all of these guidelines with my blue color, because when I save this, your guidelines don't show, unfortunately. So I'm just going to paint over them. Like that. And I'm just going to continue doing this, and I will be right back. Okay, so I've created my guidelines and I've outlined them or painted over them with a brush. I want to create one more layer, and I'm going to hold down control button, hit A, and it selects that whole layer, creates a mask around it. Now what I want to do is use my rectangular marquee tool. I'm going to come in here, and with subtract selected, I'm going to subtract from my selection. And this is just my own personal preference. It means nothing. Oh, wait a minute. There are two lines that I forgot to create. I want to create a line here for the center of my wheelbase. One of the most important things I've completely forgotten. And let me zoom in here, and I'll create another one. There we are, and now I will outline those. Okay, now on my new layer, I'm going to hide my guidelines. On my new layer, I'm going to hit Control A, use my rectangular marquee tool, and make sure I have subtract. And now I'm just going to subtract from that selection, making sure that I still have my blue reference lines in there. And I'm going to come down here to this one, and I'm going to do the same. This part is not really critical, making sure that they're absolutely perfect, because this is just for my own benefit and according to my own liking. And that's good, and I will do the same here on the top view. That looks good. Now I'm going to hold down Alt and hit D, and everything but those subtracted areas will be painted blue. I'm going to hit Control D to deselect everything. I'm sorry, Alt Delete to paint everything blue, Alt D, Control D to deselect everything. Now that's what I want. Now the reason why I painted this all blue is because there's less stark bleachy white that I have to stare at when I am in Hexagon constantly looking at this. So I'm going to flatten out this image, and I'm going to save it as my working copy, number 2. Yes, right over that. Okay. Now I'm going to leave this open here for just a minute. Come back to Hexagon. Now starting with a new screen, I'm just going to come up here. Actually, I want to enable my back modeling plane. There we are. I'm going to create a grid, and it doesn't matter the grid size, and to show you it doesn't matter the grid size, I'll create a really oblong one. In the U and the V numeric fields, I'm going to put 50 in both of them, and center this. I'm going to scale it down, make it a little bit more of a working copy. There we are. Okay, now we've got our back plane that we're going to project our blueprint on. But it's not going to look very good because we need to create this or make this plane the same scale as our image. So coming back to Photoshop, I'm going to come up here to image size, and I'm going to see what size my image is. And it's 2779 by 1580. So taking those numbers in the size on the X coordinate 2779 and in the Y coordinate 1580, and now our blueprint plane is the exact same size as the blueprint that we are going to project onto it, which is important because it needs to be of the exact scale. Both of them need to be the same. So let's come over here, and we're going to create a new texture to put on it. We're going to click on texture image. I'm going to navigate my way over to my working blueprint, the one that had the blue all over it. And doesn't that look lovely? Well, now we need to do a little UV mapping. So I'm going to come over here, UV paint. I'm going to click on unfold. Yeah, that's fine. Validate that. Click on planar projection. Validate that. Come back over here. Come to a full screen view. And there is my blueprint. Uh-oh, it's upside down. So come back into Photoshop. Image. And edit. I need to make a copy first because I can't do anything with my background. Edit, transform, flip it vertically. Oops. Flip it horizontally. Wait a minute, what did it look like in Hexagon? Yeah, flip it vertically. Transform, flip vertical. Now we'll save this. No, not check in. Whoops. I think I've had too much coffee. Save as JPEG desktop. And save it as a working copy. Yes. Okay. Now Hexagon realizes that you have updated the image, so it wants to know if you want to reload them. Click on yes. And give it a moment to refresh. Or not. Let's choose it again. Choose my original one. Make it flip back and forth. Okay, so here we've got our blueprint. Now, because we punched in those numbers in changing the size of this background plane, let's just double check to make sure that it is to scale. I'm going to come up here and grab make a circle. There we are, small little circle. I'm going to change to a front view. And grab my circle, move it right over the tire here. Zoom in, and I'll put the center of it right here in the middle of my spinning propeller. Now look at the shape of the circle. It is perfectly in line or symmetrical with the shape of the rim of the tire. So we know now that the scale of our background plane is exactly the same as the scale of our blueprint image. If it weren't, then it would be stretched one way or the other, but it's not. So it's absolutely perfect. Now we can begin setting up our reference plane. So I'm just going to call this blueprint. First I want to make a copy of it, because I don't want to have to go and do this all again if something were to happen. I don't need this background plane anymore. Now what I want to do is remove these 4 images from the plane. So I'm going to come up to select faces, and I'm going to select those, and I'm going to extract them. I'll hide that. Come up here and I will select all of those. And I will extract that, hide that. Come over here to this image and I will select all of these, extract that, hide it, come back to my last image here, and that looks good. I'm going to hit I to invert my selection and delete what I don't want. So I've got all 4 of my reference images here. Now we need to start orienting them. I'm going to come over here, choose a perspective view. I'll start with my bottom. I'm just going to rotate this flat 90 degrees. Bring this one down. And this one I'm going to rotate 90 degrees. The back one goes at the back of the car. The front one goes at the front. And I'm going to stop here at this tutorial, and I will create a second one in finishing setting up our modeling planes and beginning to create this model. So thanks for watching here at Geekatplay Studios, and be sure to watch the second one. So thanks for watching. My name's Gary Miller. Have a good day.